don't even know what day it was, at noontime prayer. And we were all in a group here, and one of the men in that group time prophesied that there was going to be marriages restored. Well, before this, I have a 7-year-old son that he had in so much hatred and rebellion. He was only 7 years old, and I was in a lot of turmoil with it because I didn't know what to do for him. And after that man said that, within that week's time, God started showing me that because I had not turned over and submitted and let my husband be who he is in our family, it was causing this rebellion to grow and nurture in my son. And I got on my knees to my husband and to the Lord for forgiveness for what I had been doing. My son, our whole lives have turned around. My son is turned around.
We had an outreach today. We had planned on having about 200 people. The Lord brought us 450 people that were in need of salvation. Also, they didn't have presents, they didn't have things in their home, but they went into the service, and probably about 55 or 60 gave their hearts to the Lord. It was Spanish and English. It was just incredible, and I know the prayers are breaking up a lot of fallow ground, and I just want to, just encourage you just continue because they are making a difference.
Praise God. All the guys that have been out there, if you'll come up, they've been out there so faithfully. We just want you to know that we appreciate you guys, man. You come cold and rain, come shine. You guys have been so faithful. Never heard a peep of complaint. I might do that in private, but we never heard it. But we wanted to give a token of our appreciation, and so Gabi put these care packets together, some Christmas gifts if you come, and tell them what's in their gifts. Here, let everybody hear what you got in there.
Both of that's books, a t-shirt, and a cologne.
It says in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, "Again I will build you, O Israel, and you shall be rebuilt." Before that, God says, "I've loved you with an everlasting love." And he goes on, he says, "Again shall the virgin rejoice in the dance." It goes on further, and it says, "Both the young men and the old men together." I think celebration, rejoicing, joy is a true sign of God's people being revived. Because God turns our mourning, which has to precede revival, mourning, brokenness, but he turns that into dancing. He turns that into joy.
Trust his mighty power fills every hour of all your days. There is no need for
In 605 BC, he knew about the prophecy given to Jeremiah that 70 years would occur, would elapse, and then the end of the captivity. And Daniel was reading the scriptures, no doubt, and was very aware of the timing, discerning the times. And he knew it was winding down, year number 68, year number 69. Lord, it's the 70th year. Daniel's prayer ministry ushered it in. And if we have, the challenge tonight is, if we have the same personal covenant relationship by the blood of Yeshua Jesus, then we can usher in whatever you want to call it. But it's time to usher it in. From the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before God, look what it says. Your words were heard What do we want? Visitation, right? Visitation is the word. Fiery, anointed visitation. This says, from that first day, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. This is a message for every one of us here. He has come because of our words. That's what the anointing is all about here. If we can usher in the visitation, a fiery visitation, it will come because of our faithful, fervent, on-fire words. If we don't stop with those words of faith, He will give us a visitation. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off. When you pray, do you call down the promises you see from afar off and then hug them? That's what He wants. Embrace them and then confess. Confess that even if you were to die, before you see all the last promises of your prayer life, even if you were to die, you're not a citizen here anyway, it says. They confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. That's saying God's going to take care of His own promises. You don't have to be here. He gave His word and He'll complete it. He will carry out the plan to the very end, and it doesn't matter who is here or not. Verse 13 says we're strangers and pilgrims. It's His word that is alive. It's His word that He will complete every last jot and tittle, whether we're here or not. He wants us to stand on His promises with unwavering faith. Stand on His promises. Not what you could touch with your hands or any of the other senses. Stand on His promises with unwavering faith. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And the commandments for the saints here today is pray. Fervent, fiery prayer. Stand in the gap prayer. Fiery intercessory prayer. Boiling over prayer. White water like when you're cooking noodles prayer. That white water shows us how we should be praying. Bubbling over in fire. Bubbling over, that's also, by the way, the word for herald, to bubble over. We need to be praying as heralds. On fire. With that constant white bubbling that even bubbles over the pot where you're cooking the spaghetti. That's how our prayer life should be. I guess it should sound really interesting when we're praying together. Fire. Think about what that white water looks like, the way it looks. Bubbling over is how, that should be the picture in the dictionary for faithful, fervent prayer. Hebrews 4:16 tells us we have intercessory boldness before the throne of grace and mercy. We are supposed to come in boldness. Daniel came in boldness. I'm supposed to come in boldness. Not irreverence, but a holy, reverent boldness leads. What we're doing here at the altar, what we're supposed to be doing here at the altar, is making ourselves ready for the bridegroom, making ourselves ready to be heard. And actually, because of our family relationship with Jesus, we are the ones that can come to Him and say, Lord, don't delay. Don't delay.
Position of my need, you didn't owe a reverence word.